Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are doing factorizing of trinomials. So I wanted to show you a method that I use for advanced trinomials, especially in grade 10. So let's just look at this question. Right here, what you need to do is first check, do you have an HCF? Do you have a highest common factor? No, I don't have a highest common factor, right? So I will go ahead and just do this. So I have a 21x squared, right? Then plus 25x minus 4, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find factors for 21 and then I'm going to find factors for 4. So 21 is quite a large number. I have 1 times 21. I have 3 times 7. And then this side, I'll have 1 times 4, and then I'll have 2 times 2, right? Now, I need to decide which pair I'm going to use. And I'm going to go for 7 and 3, and then x and x. So 7x times by 3x actually gives me the 21x squared, right? Now, coming here, what am I going to take? Oh, I see that I actually have a large number in the middle. That middle term is quite large. It's a 25. So I don't think a 2 and a 2 would actually make it because it's quite a large number. I need to make a 25. So I'm actually going to go for a 4 and a 1. Right. Now I have to be strategic and say, okay, I can decide to put a 1 here and then decide to put a 4 here. Now, look what happens. 7x times by 4 will give me 28, and then 3 times by 1 will give me 3. 28 and 3 should give me 25. So if I minus them, let me write it down. Let me write down what do I mean by this. Okay, one thing you should take note of, this is a plus, so the smaller number can take a minus. So in other words, please note that these two signs have to make a negative. So now let's do this. I'm going to go this times by that gives me 28x. And then this times by this gives me negative 3x. Now, I want you to see something here. That 28x minus 3x gives me what? Right, it gives me positive 25x. Now, as you can see, guys, the term at the top is exactly the same as the term at the bottom. So what does this leave me? So I can cancel this off. I'm done with it. It has served its purpose. Now we move on and just put in the brackets. So how I'm going to put the brackets here, I'm just going to put the brackets in a line, as you can see what I've done here. So I have 7x minus 1 for the first bracket, and then I have 3x plus 4. You know what I like about this method is the fact that once I've done it, I can take the bracket straight from this diagram and I can take it, copy it exactly as it is to what I have. I know it's a whole lot of things to do, guys, but I guarantee you when we go to the third question, because I'm going to do 3 questions, we go to the third question, you're going to see that actually it's really not that hard, okay? Okay, guys, let's look at number 2. So for number 2, we can see that there is no highest common factor. So let's just go ahead and come here. Right, so we're going to have a 12x squared plus 23xy, then a plus 10y squared. Right, now you can see, guys, that there are big numbers here. And one thing that you should know is that each number will have quite a lot of factors. So for example, like 10, we can have 1 times 10, we can have 2 times 5. And then for 12, we can have 1 times 12, we can have 2 times 6, we can have 4 times 3, right? But I'm going to go ahead with the most simplest one, which is 4 times 3, and then we x times x. So these two when they multiply each other, they actually give us the 12x squared. That's what you want to have, right, underneath the 12x squared. Now, on the other hand here, we will have 5. We can have 5 and 2, right? And y and y. Now, with this method, guys, you have to really be careful on how you actually put your numbers. You can't just put a 5 anywhere and a 2 anywhere. It must be in an order where it's actually going to give you the 23, right? So what I've done is I'm going to just put positives here because positive and positive does give me this positive here, right? So in other words, what am I saying? I'm saying 5y times by 2y actually gives me positive 10y squared, right? Now, let's see that are we actually going to get the middle term? That's the thing. So let's see. 4x times by 2y gives me 8xy, right? And then 3x times by 5y gives me 15xy. Okay, I can see something here. In fact, I can see that if I add 8xy plus 15, xy, then I am going to get 23xy, and that means the top number and the bottom number are the same. So I'm just going to scratch this neatly. I don't need that part. So I'm going to go ahead now, put brackets here. So now in the first bracket, I have 4x plus 5y. The second, I have 3x plus 2y. So let's go ahead. 4x plus 5y in the first bracket. In the second bracket, 3x plus 2y. And that's it, guys, for this question. Okay, guys, let's look at the third question. Here, I can also see there is no highest common factor, so I'm just going to go ahead and factorize this, right? So I'll write it properly. I have a 15, have a negative x, and then a minus 6x squared. Right, then I think of the factors of 15. So I have 1 times 15. I have 3 times 5. So I'm going to go ahead and write the simplest one, 5 and 3. And then here I have 1 times 6, and then I have 2 times 3. I'm going to go ahead and use the 2 times 3. And I'll tell you why. Because the 2 times 3, at least when I multiply, I know I'm trying to achieve the negative 1 here. So I can't use a 1 and a 6 because they're quite big numbers. And we don't have a big number in the middle, right? So I'm going to have to say this will be, I'm just going to deliberately say, what if I had a 2 and a 3 here? I want to show you and then an x and an x here, right? I'm going to deliberately do it wrong so that you can see that once you see that you can't actually get what you're looking for, always then swap the order of how you've actually written the terms and then try it again. So look at this. This times, okay, let's decide maybe that, okay, let's have a negative and a positive. So I'll put a negative here, I'll put a positive here. I'm showing you that sometimes you can get it wrong, but you should know how to actually fix this. So look at this. 5 times negative 3x gives me negative 15x, right? And then this times this gives me positive 6x. And guys, can you see what happens? Now negative 15x plus 6x gives me negative 9x. Then you realize that no, there's something wrong here. What you're going to do is you're just going to raise that. And then after that, I want you to raise this and swap them, right? So when you swap them, you're going to say, okay, let's try and have the 2 at the bottom. And then at the top, I will have a 3. Right, now I see that when I multiply, so this times that gives me 10, and this times this gives me 9. So, okay, let's put x here because 2x and 3x should give me that 6x squared. But now the signs, I'm going to choose to put a negative here. Why am I choosing to put a negative next to the 2x to be negative? It's because it is going to multiply with the 5, and they're actually going to make a 10, and then a 3 and 3 would make a 9. So I know that, okay, the 10 has to be negative because we have a negative here at the top. So you just have to play around with it, strategize, and then actually find it. Guys, you should know that when it comes to trinomials, when it comes to this method, it's not just a plug in and get an answer. You have to practice, you have to find your strategies. Like I'm saying, you're trying to make the middle term, so you have to keep on changing things such that you actually get the middle term, right? So 5 times by, so now I'm doing this, 5 times by negative 2x gives me what? It gives me negative 10x. And then 3 times by 3x gives me 9x. And then now the 2, when I actually add this and that, it gives me what I have at the top, correct? It gives me negative x, right? Now, look at that. What I have at the top, I have at the bottom. So that means I can scratch this out, and then I'm going to take the brackets as they are. Remember, this is positive. I just did not write the sign. So you'll have 5 plus 3x. And then you have 3 minus 2x. I know sometimes that it's so hard to see through the mess, but I think the minute you get used to answering the questions, playing around with this method, that eventually it's going to be less messy than this, right? I hope you enjoyed the lesson, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.